students. So yesterday we have studied about the movement of animals. We came to know about the cockroach, that it is having a wings as well as that of legs. The wings are responsible, they make the cockroach to fly, and that of the legs they help them to move on the ground. Birds are having the streamlined body, wings, as well as it is having the hollow bone, which makes its body light and due to which it can fly easily. We also studied about the upstroke and downstroke. So when a bird fly, upstroke and downstroke process occur alternatively and due to which a bird can fly. Now today we will start with the animals who move without legs. Movement without legs. So we usually associate movement with the legs whenever we talk about movement, that a person is moving from one place to the another place, or changing its position from one place to the another. We always associate movement that this movement is happening just because of the presence of the legs. Okay, so legs are responsible for the movement of our body, or it is responsible for the locomotion, for changing the position of the animal from one place to the another. So legs are responsible for that. Okay, and you see most of the animals, they are having legs, which main function is the same, that is the help in the moving the body, help in the locomoting the body from one position to the another. But not all the animals are blessed with the legs, or you can say that not all the animals they move with the help of the legs. Okay, there are animals which do not have a legs. So the animals which do not have a legs, they use their muscles of their body for moving their body from one place to the another. So if legs are not present in the animal's body, then the muscles of the body are responsible for the movement. Some of the animals you can see, like that of the earthworm or snail or fishes, as well as snake. So these are some of the animals which do not have legs. Okay, so they move with the help of their muscles. Okay, so right now we will discuss about the animals which move one place from the another without the help of the legs. So when you see, student, the first one is the earthworm. Okay, so you see the earthworm, they does not have a bones or legs. Okay, for the movement they do not use, because they don't possess legs, as well as their body does not consisting of the bones also. So it has a muscles, and this muscles help earthworm, or this muscle is there which helps to lengthen and shorten the body. So it help in giving the length, and as well as it also help in shortening the earthworm's body. Okay, so an earthworm, when we talk about the earthworm, this earthworm is basically consisting of a liquid field segments. Okay, so these are the different segments which is present in that of the earthworm. But when we talk about the earthworm, it is consisting of the fluid in it. It is consisting of the liquid which is present in it, and that liquid filled segment, which we also call as a compartment. Okay, so these compartment or these liquid filled segments, they join together. Okay, and after joining they constitute the earthworm's body. So we can say that the earthworm body, it mainly consisting of a compartment. It mainly consists of the segments or compartments which are joined together. These segments are basically consisting of the liquid in it. That's why we can say that it consists of a liquid filled segment which are joined together. Normally, when we talk about the segment, these segments of the earthworm body, they are short as well as they are fat. Okay, the earthworm body, they are having a two type of a muscles in it, because we are studying about the movement without legs. So basically the earthworm's body do not have a legs. They are basically made up of a segments. They are made up of a compartment, and that compartment joined together, and each compartment they are short as well as they are fat. Also, they consisting of a two type of a muscles too. The first one is the circular muscle, and the second one is the longitudinal muscle. Okay, so circular muscles are there and longitudinal muscles are there. So what happened basically when the circular muscle contracts? You can see here, this is the circular muscles and this one is the longitudinal. Circular C and longitudinal, this is L. So when the circular muscle contract, they make the segment of the earthworm body long and thin. You can see here, when this circular muscles contract, this segment, this whole segment, it becomes long as well as it become thin. As it become long, it makes the that segment thin also. Okay, after that this muscle relaxed and the longitudinal muscle it contract. You can see here the longitudinal muscles contract and that of the circular muscle it relaxed. So when the longitudinal muscle contract, they make the long and a thin segment of earthworm body short and fat again. So earlier we can say like that, this blue portion, you can see this is showing the portion of the circular muscle and this portion is showing the portion of the longitudinal muscle. So when this muscle contract, then what happened? The body of the earthworm, that segment of the earthworm, it become long and thin. And when this muscle relaxed, that is the circular muscle relaxed and longitudinal muscles contract, then this longitudinal muscle, it make this long and thin segments of earthworm body into short and fat again. So we can say just because of the contraction of the circular muscle, the segment become long and thin, and when the longitudinal muscle contract, then the segment it become short and fat again. Okay student, so it is consisting of a two important muscle, that is the longitudinal muscle and the circular muscle. Okay, so it help in the contraction and relaxation. Now when you see this, then you find that see here that each segment of the earthworm, they are having a tiny bristles. What is the meaning of a bristles here? It is a hair like a structure on its underside. So you see here, this is if we had taken a circular muscle, if this is a circular muscle, consider it as a circular muscle. So this muscles, it is having a hair like a structure and that is known as a bristle. Okay, so what is the role of the bristle? These bristles can be moved into the ground to grip the ground or withdrawn to release the ground. So basically you can say that these bristle, which is also known as setae, it held the earthworm to cling to the sides of the burrow. Or we can say that these bristles, when it moves, it help the earthworm to make a grip to that of the ground, as well as when this grip loosen, or we can say when with the help of this bristle only, it withdraws the ground and help its body to release from the ground. So overall we can say that these bristles, it help in the movement of the body of the earthworm. Okay, so it is present to that of the underside of each segment of the earthworm body, and they also help in the movement of the earthworm from ground on the ground, as well as it also help the earthworm to withdraw so that it will release that ground. Okay, so these are the bristles, which is also known as setae. Okay students, you can see here this is the hair like strand, and this is a portion of a circular muscle. Now we will talk about that the movement of the earthworm. So you see student, the normal shape of the body of the earthworm when it is stationary, or we can say when it is not moving, is this. Okay, and in this position you can see each and every segment. These all are the different segments of the earthworm. They are short as well as they are fat. Okay, so all the segment, it is short and a fat when the body is not moving at all. So we can say the changes occur only when the earthworm moves. Only then the segments of the earthworm's body changes. Till that, all the segment of the earthworm's body, they are short and fat. So when we talk about the bristles that is present on the underside, these are the bristles which is present on the underside. You can see here, these are the bristles. Okay students, this one. So these are the bristles which are present on the underside of the body, which help in gripping the ground. You can see these are the tiny thing outgrowth from that of the body, which help in gripping that of the ground. This green portion, you will consider it as a ground. Now what happened? To move forward, the earthworm have to contract. Okay, so the earthworm contracts the circular motion. You can see here, the earthworm, it contracts the circular motion, circular muscle, sorry, it contracts the circular muscle of the front segment, and due to which the front part of the body, it become long and thin. You can see here. So contraction when occur at the front position, so you know that as the circular muscle contraction occur, then it will it will make the segment long and thin. So just to move forward, at first the head portion, it must contract. It means the circular muscles which is present in that of the head, or it is present in that of the front segment, have to contract, and as it contracted, due to which the front part of the body, it become long and thin, and thus it makes the head portion to move ahead by some distance. Okay, so you can see as it become long and thin, due to which it moves to a certain distance. During this time, the bristle of the front part of the earthworm are withdrawn from the ground. You have seen here the bristles are attached to that of the ground, but here it is somewhat upper to that of the ground. It means this bristles which help in gripping the body to the ground is now released from that of the ground. Okay, or we can say that this front part of the earthworm body are withdrawn from the ground. But you see the back part of the earthworm, it remain fixed to the ground by gripping action of bristles. Okay, so the bristles which is present at the front portion, when the front portion it contract due to the contraction of the circular motion, the body become long and thin. The bristles which is attached to it get withdraw from that of the ground, it get released from the ground, but the back portion is still there to give support, so it will remain fixed to the ground by gripping the action of the bristles. Okay, so the front portion is upside but the back portion will remain attached to the ground. Then what happened? You see here the same thing is going on. This is the head portion due to which, okay, after that what happened, the next step you see the longitudinal muscle of the front portion. Right now here the circular motion contracted due to which it become long and thin. Now it's the role of the, now the circular motion will come to the relaxed state. And how it will come to the relaxed state? When the longitudinal muscle contracts. Okay, so the longitudinal muscle of the front part of the earthworm, when it contracts, what happen? It make the segment short and fat again. You can see here the first one and that of the third one. Here the first one, due to the contraction of the circular muscle, it become long and thin, released to the ground. But as the longitudinal muscle contract, the circular motion will come to the relaxed state and again it will gain the same position, or again it will become, the segments will become fat and circular. The bristle, it was at the released from the ground when the circular muscle contracted. But what happened in the longitudinal muscle, student? In the longitudinal muscle, when the longitudinal muscle contract, segment becomes short and fat, the bristle of the front part now grip the ground. Okay, now it again get attached to the ground. Okay, so when the longitudinal muscle contract, then this happen, and at the same time you see the circular muscle of the back portion. Here what happened when it contract, this time the longitudinal muscle which is present here, longitudinal. Here when the circular motion contract, then it will become long and thin, and here the longitudinal muscle contract, after that this will become fat and short again. When this happens again in the third one, when the longitudinal muscle contract here, at the same time the circular muscle of the back portion of the back part, it contract. You can see here, as the longitudinal muscles contract, it will come back to its same position, but at the middle one or at the back portion you will see the circular muscles contract, and due to which it make the back part of the earthworm body long and thin. Okay, so here the circular muscle relaxed, longitudinal muscle contract, due to which this bristles which is attached to that of the earthworm, which was released at the second stage of the earthworm, come back to the ground. It means it again grips get to that of the ground. But the back portion of this body of the earthworm, the circular motion which is now present at the back portion, now it contract at the back portion, due to which it become long and thin, and as it become long and thin, the bristles which is attached to it, the setae which is attached to it, it will release the grip from the ground. Okay, so finally the longitudinal muscle again it contracts again at the back portion of the of the earthworm, making it short and fat by pulling the back of the body forward. Okay, so in this way the earthworm completes one step of its movement and cover a small distance, and by repeating these steps the earthworm keeps on moving further. The body of the earthworm, it also secretes a very slimy substance. That slimy substance is moist, is very soft, as well as it is a kind of a slippery substance which make the earthworm to move properly. So I'll let me remind you one more time about this. At first, what happened? See, student, this movement of the earthworm is basically occur due to the presence of two muscles in it. The first muscle is the circular muscle. The second muscle is the longitudinal muscle. Now, when the circular muscle contracts, the body, the segment of the earthworm, the body segment of the earthworm, it become long and thin. At the same time, when the longitudinal muscle contract, it become fat and short again. Okay, so these two muscles, they occur alternatively and they are opposite to each other. Okay, so what happened if suppose we take a segment from the head, if a earthworm is moving, and one more thing is there, that is setae bristles are present at the underside of the body of the earthworm, which is attached to the ground. The function of the bristle is to make a grip on the ground, as well as when it releases the bristle, then it will come it will release that of the ground, or it will withdraw the ground also. Now if we see the movement, that until and unless it will not move, the segment will remain like that, means the body, there will be no change in the segment. But as the earthworm start moving, at first the head, which is the front portion of the earthworm, it will move. So the head portion, if one segment of the if one segment of the earthworm is, if we take it, then the circular muscle which is present at the head portion, it will move. And as the circular muscle, it contracts, the body, it become thin and flat, right? So you see here, already it was very thin and flat, which indicate that here the circular motion was acting, here the longitudinal muscle was there. Right now, when the circular muscle, now the chance of the circular muscle of the head of the earthworm is contracting, when it get contracted, it become long and thin. Okay, as it become long and thin, now it is the role of a due to which as it becomes the long and thin, it will move a certain distance also. You can see here it was at this position, but now due to the circular motion, it reaches to a certain place, it changes its position from this place to this one. Okay, so it become long and thin, thin, and when this longitudinal muscle acts, when the circular muscle contracts, relaxed, and longitudinal muscle contract, then it will gain its same position, because when the longitudinal muscle contracts, it makes the body fat and short. Okay, so we can say the movement of the earthworm, it occur alternatively, making the body thin and long, and again short and fat, and due to which this earthworm can move from one place to the another. And one more thing, student, this motion, this contraction and this contraction of the circular and the longitudinal, it is occurring to the every segment. So first the head will contract, become thin and long, then longitudinal will work here, it become thick and short, it become fat and short. Now the contraction of the middle portion will occur by the circular muscles. Then again the longitudinal muscle will work on the middle portion, due to which it will also cover the same distance. Then the back portion, the last portion, here also the circular motion will act on it, and due to which it become long and thin. What does that mean? That this circular muscle and longitudinal muscle will act on each and every segment, due to which the earthworm is easy to move forward. Okay. Now we will come to the next animal in which the movement occur without legs, and that is very familiar one, which is known as a snail. Okay, student. So when we talk about the snail, or when you see the snail moving, what did you observe? You observe that the movement of the snail is very slow. Okay, so we can say that it is a very slow moving animal which is having a shell on its back. Okay, so it is a very slow moving animal with a shell on its back. So this is the shell of the snail. Okay, what is this, students? This is the tentacles. This is the mouth. This portion, I think you can see here, this one. This is the mouth. And the most important is this one. What is this? This is the foot. Okay, so it is a very slow moving animal which is having a shell on its back. Now when you see the body of the snail is very soft. It consisting of a head as well as a foot is there, and very popular, that is shell. Okay, you know that a snail is having a shell on it. So the head of the snail, it is having a two pair of tentacles. You can see here, this one is a tentacle. This one is a tentacle, student. And this one is also a tentacle. So this, its body is having a two pair of a tentacle. And what is the role of the tentacle which is present in that of the snail is, these tentacles, they help in catching the prey. Okay, so the head of the snail, they are having a two pair of tentacles, that is for catching prey. Now the larger pair of the tentacle, these tentacles, they are having a very small or very little eyes in them. Okay, so these are the eyes which is present in that of the snail. Now when we talk about this snail, student, these snails, they are having the outer covering, that is the shell. So shell is the outer skeleton of the snail. Although it looks like that it is a skeleton, or we can say that it is very hard, but it is not made up of a bones at all. Okay, it is not made up of a bone, but the shell, it contains the internal organ of the snail. When you remove the shell, you will find the internal organ of the snail. So basically, what is the role of the shell? Whenever, if you see or if you try to touch that of the snail, I think most of you have seen that in danger, or when the condition is not favorable according to that of the snail, it withdraws its head inside that of the shell. Not only its head, but also its foods. So this shell is like a protective covering. Okay, so when it find that is a kind of a danger, when you touch the snail, then basically it find that is a danger. Okay, and then what happens, these snails, it withdraws its head and that of the food into the shell. Now this shell, it is having only one foot. The snails, they are having only one foot, and that foot is under its body. You can see this is the foot of the snail, which is under that of the body, or under that of the shell. Now this foot of the snail, it is large as well as it is flat. and somewhat it is a like of a disc shape structure, and these foot is made of a strong muscles, and that's why we call it a muscular foot. You can see here there is no legs are present in that of the snail. Okay, so basically it is consisting of the muscles, it is made up of a muscles. So we can say that these snails, they are having a large flat shape structure which is made up of a strong muscle, and that's why we call it a muscular foot. Foot. This is a muscular foot of that snail. Okay, because it is made up of muscles. Now when the snail moves with the help of the or we can say that this muscular foot is basically responsible for the movement of the body. So the snail moves with the help of this large disc shaped muscular foot. So how does this happen? So there are two set of muscles in front of the snail, and these two set of the muscles of the snail, it help in contracting and expanding. You know that the movement occur in an animal due to the contraction and the expansion only. Okay, so the snail is also able to move just because of the contraction and expansion, and these contraction and expansion occur alternatively with the help of a two set of muscles which is present in this muscular foot. Okay, so the muscular foot, when it contract and after that it expand, and due to which the snail is able to move a certain distance. Okay, so these contraction and expansion, when it occur, it produces a wave kind of a effect. Okay, it produces a kind of a wave effect, that is a back to that of the front. Okay, so this series of waves in the animals in the muscles of the foot, it makes the snail move forward. So we can say when it starts moving, the alternate muscles, at first it contract, then it expand, and this contraction and expansion produces a wave like a structure, due to which we can say the snail is able to move forward. Okay, so this is the basically that how the snail moves. One more thing is there, these snails are gastropods. What is the meaning of the gastropod, student? That is belly footed animals. Belly, you can say stomach. Okay, so these are the gastropods. It means they are belly footed animals. Okay, it means they can move with the help of their belly. They do not have a proper legs, and that's why they are known as gastropods. The movement of the snail is called creeping. We always say that it is creeping. Okay, and in this way we can say that movement of the snail is very much similar to that of the earthworm. Okay, but if you compare the speed of the earthworm to that of the snail, then you find that earthworm is somewhat faster than that of the snail. So we study the snail is a very slow moving animal. It is having a soft body but a hard shell is there, although the shell is not made up of bones, but these shell help in protecting the body of the snail in the time of a danger, as well as it is having a disc shape, a flat disc shape foot is there, which moves by contracting and expanding alternatively, which produces a wave like effect, and by which we can say a snail move forward. Okay.